everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I'm Priscilla, I'm the owner of A Life Full of Simplicity. Today I'll be flipping through the two books that are here, Reading Tarot and Reading Tea Leaves, both of which are by April Wall, and they're published by Weldon Owen. This is an imprint of Inside Editions, and Inside Editions did send me both these books for the purposes of review. So I'm super excited and to get into them. So how about we get into Reading Tarot first, and then we get into Reading Tea Leaves. Both of these books are set to release on August 15th. So as of right now, as you're watching this, they are actually available for pre-order. If you're interested in picking them up, I did leave links in the description box below of where you can buy these legitimately, as I always do. Of course, the only links that are affiliate to me are the ones associated with Amazon. So let's get into Reading Tarot. Find your inner fortune teller through the cards. This is part of the Daily Divination series. Now in the back here it says, discover the answers you seek. Reading Tarot is an all-in-one resource for learning everything you need to know about the ancient divinatory art of interpreting tarot cards. There is no topic that tarot cards cannot tackle, whether you're looking for guidance into relationships, career paths, finances, or romance. Beautifully illustrated and filled with simple step-by-step instructions, professional tarot reader and author April Wall provides thorough explanations of how to accurately interpret the major and minor arcana cards and hone your intuition in the process. Complete with numerous examples, card spreads, and tips to apply in various real-world scenarios, Reading Tarot provides the tools you will need to conduct impactful readings for yourself and others. This retails for $17.99 in the US, $24.99 in Canada. So let's get into it. I really do love the cover. The illustrations are actually really gorgeous. This is the the end pages, I think is what you call this. So this is the table of contents. So we have Chapter 1, the history of tarot and preparing for a reading. Chapter 2, conducting a reading. Chapter 3, major arcana. Chapter 4, minor arcana. We have a conclusion, acknowledgments, and about the author. We have history, preparing for a reading. We have a selecting your deck. Oh, I do love that they stated that you don't need to be gifted or handed down a deck. Love that. And I do love that as well. We have preparing and cleansing a deck. We have preparing yourself and your space. Using your intuition. Then we go into conducting a reading with different steps. And of course it says that you can, conduct your own ritual, make your own ritual if you wish to. We have some spreads here. We have a single card, 3 cards, 2 options for 3 cards. We have a 6-card spread, Celtic cross, and we have step 4 on giving a reading. We have some examples for the 1 card, an example for the 3 card, an example for the 6 card. We have some other uses as well as reversed meanings. And then we have some tips and tricks. So it goes into the major arcana, and the information that we have is as follows. So we have a picture of the card, title, keywords, meaning. Then an interpretation. And for reverse meaning, we only have keywords. And it's like that for every card in the major arcana. Then we go into the minor arcana. We have information on the suits, information on the numbers, court cards. So we have some information on the court cards. And then we go into the suit of wands. We have a blurb on the actual suit as a whole, plus that it's fire energy, spring, and days. So we have the title, we have some keywords, we have a meaning and an interpretation. We have a strengthened by, weakened by, and a reverse meaning. I really like this because it's a very interesting choice on how you can interpret a connection between the cards if you get these cards around it compared to these cards. So I think that's really interesting. So we have this kind of layout for all the cards. Then we have a conclusion, acknowledgments, and about the author. It's really cool. Now, the book does come with a nice ribbon bookmark, which is really practical in my opinion. It helps to be able to mark the page that you're on without actually needing a bookmark, which is efficient in my opinion. Next, we get into reading tea leaves. So this is reading tea leaves, discover what brews in your future. This is also part of the Daily Divination series, again, by April Wall. So in the back here, it says, interpret the future in your next cup of tea. Reading tea leaves is a comprehensive guide to mastering the centuries-old practice of tea leaf reading, also known as tassomancy, and teaches everything you need to know to decode the secret answers to life's toughest problems hiding among tea leaves. Author April Wall, a spirit-led psychic intuitive, provides simple explanations on how to unlock the answers about your relationships, life, future, and even yourself. Beautifully illustrated, April's years of knowledge and real-life experience will teach you how to confidently interpret over 100 tea leaf symbols. Complete with a glossary, step-by-step instructions, and insider tips and tricks, you will be successfully performing tea readings in the time it takes you to brew your next cup. I don't know about that for me personally, but I'm definitely intrigued. So this retails for $17.99 in the US, $24.99 in Canada. End pages again, very nice. Look at the illustration, so pretty. So we have an introduction, we have the history of tea leaf reading, preparing the tea leaves, interpreting tea leaf symbols, tea leaf symbol glossary, example tea leaf readings, taking tea leaf reading further. We have a conclusion, acknowledgments, about the author, and an index. So we have an introduction here. We have a history. We have preparing the tea leaves, so tools for tea leaf reading, brewing the tea and emptying the cup, so we have different steps for that. Understanding the teacup layout. We have a handle, teacup's rim, and it tells you bottom, middle, outer rim, handle. Interesting. We have interpreting tea leaf symbols, so step-by-steps on that. Tea leaf laws, location, appearance, clear image, fuzzy symbol, way, size, tea leaf symbol formations, reading tea leaves for yourself and others, tricks of the trade, then we go into the tea leaf symbol glossary. So we have the structure. It seems like we have the title, keywords, and then a blurb on how to interpret. This one has a tip specifically. This one does not. They are in alphabetical order, it seems like. Some of them have tips, some of them don't. It's cool. We have the zodiac signs. Then we have an example tea leaf reading. Example 2. Example 3. I think example 3 asks you to interpret it yourself, which is cool. Then we have taking tea leaf reading further, which is harnessing your intuition, additional uses, how to handle a bad reading, and throwing a tea leaf reading party. How fun. Well, I like that. Oh, and there's an answer to example 3. So you do it yourself, but they still provide an example. Love that. We have a conclusion. And then we have the index here at the back. That's really cool. I really like that. So if you're not into tea leaf reading, also there is a ribbon bookmark, which I really appreciate. For $17.99, this is actually a nice touch, I have to say. You could technically use this as bibliomancy as well. So how about we read feather, because that's what my eye was caught first. Let's read this, and then afterwards I'm going to pull a card and read from the reading tarot as well. Okay, I'm just gonna put this here for now in case it closes. Okay. Feather. Need to be more serious? News coming. Fluttering on the breeze like a feather may sound like a dream, seemingly without care in the world, but sometimes we have to come back down to earth. This symbol within the teacup is a reminder of just that. There may be a need for the sitter to face something head on and to be more serious about the situation at hand. This usually shows up for a younger sitter who has been postponing a major life decision, such as finding the first grown-up job. I have seen this symbol pop up around pivotal birthdays, such as the big 3-0, when life normally turns a bit more serious for us all. Alternatively, seeing a feather means news is coming to the client. This is an excellent symbol to apply to all the laws, which is on page 19, as the meaning can change significantly without them. If the feather is distinct, the news will be good. However, a cloudy or mishappened feather can foretell bad news. If there are additional symbols representing news, like an angel, which is on page 34, an arrow, which is on page 35, or a horse on page 79, these can aid in figuring out if the feather signifies good news or bad news as well. So that was feather. I really like the information in this particular book, and I feel like it has a lot of good information for like beginners, in my opinion. So I really like that book a lot. Okay, let's shuffle out a card. I just had the Disney Villains Tarot near me, so I'm just going to shuffle out a card for this. Okay, what do we have here? We have strength. And then let's do the 5 of cups. 6 of cups, rather. Okay. Strength, and then okay, strength. Leo, inner strength, patience, subtle power. Meaning, now this card is neither represented by a person nor an inanimate object. Instead, it's represented by a quality. That quality is strength, defined as the capacity to withstand great force or pressure. Many times we think of strength as a show of muscle, but that is not what strength in tarot is about. As things have intensified for the Fool on his journey, strength will be the important value to cultivate. As you can see from the card, there stands a woman stroking a lion. Although the lion is known as the king of the jungle in most circumstances, when it faces inner persistence and patience, the ferocious beast becomes a tame tabby. The lion represents passion and force. It can also stand for troubles in our life that feel too powerful to conquer. The woman dressed in white flowing robes, adorned with a crown, is true representation of strength. True representative, rather, of strength in this depiction. The white of her gown speaks to her purity of heart and spirit. The crown she wears is made of flowers, pointing to a connection with nature and letting her inner self reflect naturally outward. She has not sought to forge a crown from hard metals or stones, but instead lets the flowers speak gently to her power to lead. The infinity symbol floats above her head, much like we saw in the Magician's card, which is on page 31. And as with the Magician, the symbol alludes to the infinite potential for strength within the woman. So far, I'm really liking this because it really goes into the detail of the original symbology, which I really like. Interpretation. In a reading, the strength card symbolizes getting through a rough patch in life by staying steady and patient. The situation will not be overcome by yelling, screaming, or even running away, but rather with quiet fortitude. This card normally pops up when a client feels at the end of her rope with an issue and thinks she has no more left to give, but Spirit uses this card as a reminder that her ability to keep pushing is more resilient than she even knows. Depending on the other cards in the spread, strength can represent ultimately whatever the sitter is facing will be overcome. This card also represents the sign of Leo. That could be the sitter herself or someone she is inquiring about in the reading. This card can also reference Leo qualities such as leadership, grace, and compassion, which may be required for resolution in the sitter's current situation. Then reverse meaning, we have self-doubt, weakness, and fear. Interesting. I really like the detail of this specifically. Then we have the Six of Cups. Wands, Pentacles. Where's the cups in this? Is cups last? Oh, here we go. Okay, I think it's focused. Okay, Six of Cups. Childhood, family life, innocence. Meaning, after the turmoil of the Five of Cups, which is on page 123, starting on the other page, the Six of Cups is a much needed respite from heartache. This card focuses much more on the sweet memories of the past, particularly around one's youth. This card depicts a young boy who holds out a cup full of flowers to a younger girl. Another cup sits on a podium also filled with flowers, while the remaining four sit on the foreground. An older person with a cane can be seen walking away in the background. The children are located center stage in an open plaza of a home. The image is sweet, innocent, and serene. As the children inhale the sweet aromas of the flowers, you too may find yourself thinking back to soft memories. I really like that. Interpretation. Whenever this card pops up, I advise the client that someone from her childhood may be showing up unexpectedly. This could be rekindling of a romance with a high school sweetheart or catching up with hometown friends. This card can also reflect a moment when a sitter may find herself flipping through old yearbooks or photo albums, thinking about the warm memories of her youth. This card can reflect dealing with inner child healing, especially if this appears alongside the Star, which is on page 63, or the Magician, which is on page 31. Emotions may be running high as the sitter works through those feelings. Not everyone has a happy childhood, and it could be that the querent is having to relive some difficult situations. For the most part, this card is a positive omen, as it also points to innocence and childlike wonder in the wider world. The sitter may be experiencing awe at some new element of her life that she may have taken for granted before. This card can appear after a health scare, and there is a tendency to think about the past fondly and appreciate the ease with which life happened at the time. So this card is strengthened by the Empress, the Star, and Nine of Pentacles. It's weakened by the Eight of Swords, Nine of Swords, and Eight of Cups. Very interesting, okay? Reverse meaning is looking ahead, breaking ties with the past, and moving away from home. I really like the level of detail that there is in this book. I love the fact that they have, the meaning, and they really do go into detail about describing the card, and then they have like the interpretation, which is really interesting. We have keywords, obviously, which is very helpful, and I really like the addition in the minors specifically of the fact that it's strengthened by and weakened by. I think that's a really interesting take for sure, in my opinion. with this because it could be helpful when you're looking at all the cards in a particular spread. So those were the Reading Tarot and Reading Tea Leaves books, both by April Wall, published by Weldon Owen, which are an imprint of Insight Editions. And overall, I have to say, I really love both of these books, and I'm excited to actually use them in my own practice. Specifically, I don't know if I'll read tea leaves, but I really like the fact that this can also be used for bibliomancy. So if you do bibliomancy, I think this would be a great option, in my opinion. And then the Reading Tarot, I really like the insight that's in here. I love that there's examples on how to do the spreads. There's also examples on how to do readings for the tea leaf readings as well. I really like that because I feel like both of these are very beginner friendly in my opinion. So if you're new specifically to these topics, you have at least examples to go by on how the author interprets those particular divination practices, which is really great to get at least some opinion on someone else's experience on how they interpret. Obviously, these would be, reference, but they don't need to be set in stone. So you can make your practice your own. You could use these as guidance, right? They don't need to be 100% based on this, your practice, which I really like as well. So let me know in the comments below what you think of these two particular books. As I stated earlier, they are releasing August 15th. Links are always in the description. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on that bell so you can be notified every time I post a brand new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it's greatly appreciated and helps me in the long run. Thanks so much, and I hope that you have a great day.